From a beat that's dropping heat to a forecast on Wall Street, from an axiom to an action, there's a pattern of reaction. There's a rhythm, yeah, a hum, for the world that is to come. And today, we're going to track its traces in some very different places. Okay, so let's start with a riddle. What on earth connects these three things? A rapper's amazing lyrics, a trader's big bet on the market, and a founder's crazy idea that nobody's seen yet? I mean, they seem like they're from different planets, right? Well, stick with me because we are about to pull on the secret thread that ties them all together. So our first clue, it pops up in the Bronx, you see. A place full of school bells, sure, but also beats and, believe it or not, relativity. This is where a whole new way of teaching was about to take off, just by shining a totally different kind of light on an old subject. And here's the problem, which Professor Christopher Emdin saw so clearly. He had these students who were just full of passion for hip-hop, but when it came to their physics books, they were completely checked out. So he had this brilliant idea. Instead of fighting that passion, why not use it? Why not build a bridge between their world and the world of science? And this, right here, just captures that transformation perfectly. On the one hand, you've got the old way, boring formulas on a dusty page. But on the other, whoa, the birth of the science genius BATTLES. All of a sudden, kids weren't just reading about work equals force times distance. They were spitting fire verses about it. They were turning these abstract ideas into these electric, live performances. They were basically translating science into a language they already knew and loved. So here's the kicker. It totally worked. This wasn't just for kicks. A study showed that these students actually started to outperform their peers on science tests. By describing the world of physics in a brand new language, they unlocked a much deeper way of understanding it. Now remember that word, description. It's going to be really important. All right, let's jump to our next stop and see how this idea evolves. We're leaving the classroom now and heading to the trading floor. A place where the stakes are in the billions and the pressure is, well, way, way higher. This is a world run by numbers, by models, and, as we're about to see, by a very special kind of geek. But as soon as we get there, we hear this voice of caution. It's from the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett. He gave this famous warning after the 2008 crash, and his point was that these super complex mathematical models were like a loaded gun, and that the geeks building them were creating risks that nobody could possibly understand. But hang on a second. Now, look at this number. That is the return of a single hedge fund back in the 1990s, and it was run not by bankers, but by physicists. We're talking nearly 2,500%. So it turns out, while some formulas definitely failed, the right ones, in the right hands, they weren't just successful, they were absolutely world-changing. So what connects the physicist to the rapper? Well, it is the exact same principle. Both of them were using a new abstract language. One was lyrical flow, the other was mathematical models, to describe the world. And by describing it differently, they could suddenly see patterns and opportunities that were just hidden from everybody else. Okay, time for our third and final clue before we solve this whole riddle. We're now heading into the world of giant corporations and huge ideas. But there's a major problem here. A huge, expensive gap. It's a place that researchers call the Valley of Death. Just let that number sink in. Over $1 trillion. That's how much money is estimated to be spent every single year on R&D for technologies that are patented, that are proven to work, but that never, ever actually make it to the market. They just die in that lonely valley between a cool invention and a real innovation. This map, it's from Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1, and it basically shows us the way across that deadly valley. See, on one side, you've got conventions. That's the easy stuff everyone already knows. And way on the other side are mysteries, things that are just impossible to figure out right now. But that path across, it's right there in the middle, in that difficult, searchable space. That's where you find the secrets. Okay, it's time. Let's put all the pieces together. The rapper, the quant, the founder. The secret here isn't just about what they do, it's about how they see the world. The answer to our big riddle is hiding in two really powerful ideas about how you actually build the future. First, you gotta get your head around this concept. A physicist, they look at the world and try to describe what's already there. But a mathematician, they work completely backwards. For them, a mathematical object doesn't even exist until it's described with perfect logic and language. They literally speak new realities into existence just by writing their proofs. And second, there's this incredible idea of secrets. Now, a secret isn't some impossible mystery. No, it's a fundamental truth about the world that pretty much everyone else has overlooked. It's hard to find, for sure, but it is findable. And that means the world isn't all mapped out. There are still amazing discoveries just waiting for someone who's willing to search where no one else is looking. And here it is, the answer to our riddle. The rapper, the quant, and the founder. They are all relentless searchers who create existence by description. The rapper describes physics with rhyme, and that makes it real and understandable. The quant describes the market with a new formula, and that reveals a hidden edge. And the founder? Well, the founder describes a future that doesn't exist yet, a secret about how the world could be better, and then goes out and builds it. So this is the big takeaway for you. Every great company, every single world-changing idea, it started out as a secret that somebody hunted down relentlessly and then described into reality. So you really have to ask yourself, what important truths do you see that maybe other people are missing? Where are you looking for secrets? You know, in the end, it really all comes down to this. Don't just copy what's already been done. That's just going from 1 to N. The real challenge, the real task, is to create something completely new, to go from 0, where there was nothing, to 1. It's all about finding a secret, describing it into existence, and then building a better future. One beat, one formula, and one world-changing idea at a time.